All right, Honor Stats, this is a review for your quiz that you're taking tomorrow on Chapter 4.1, dealing with scatter diagrams and correlation coefficients. Okay. Scenario: there seems to be a correlation between the age of a chicken and how many eggs per month the chicken lays. The following data was randomly collected. So, know that I'm going to give you this as your X and this as your Y. You need to know that, okay? Think about it. If you were a chicken farmer, you wouldn't want to say, oh, I got 43 eggs. I wonder how old the chicken is. No, you want to know how old the chicken is so that you can get the desired number of eggs. So the age of the chicken is our explanatory variable, and the number of eggs per month that chicken lays is our response variable. 6 and 16 are partners. That means a chicken that is 6 years old usually lays, or this particular one laid 61 eggs that month. Make sense? Beautiful. Now, we need to make sure you fill in the axes correctly, and here we go. So the x-axis is our age of our chickens. And if we look at the ages, I see 6 up to 14. That says I'm going to go in 5s. So flick 5, flick 10, flick 15. But as soon as I see my y-axis, I see it ranges from 30s up to the 60s. So therefore, I want to go 30, 40, 50, 60. But what do I need on the y-axis bottom, everybody? That's squiggle. So therefore, if I start at 30 and then go to 40 and then 50, make that a little bit higher. No, it's all right. 50, and then that's 60. So just to make sure you understand why, if you look at this distance here, this is 5. This is 30. They're not the same distances. That's why you need the squiggle for those larger numbers. Hopefully that makes sense. And now let's start plotting points. 6, 61. So we're going to go over here to 6, and we're going to go up here to 61, and we're going to put a dot. I'll say about right here. And then we continue. Over 12, up 39. 12, up 39. Over 14, God bless you, up 30. Over 7, up 57. Over 11, up 47. 8 and 54. 13 and 35. 9 and 50. And 10 and 45. Okay. Notice it asks you for a best fit line. You are going to take your pencil out. I'll do it in red. Now, I'm going to throw some things up here first that are not correct. If you think this is the best fit line, you are not going to get any points. If you think this is the best fit line, you will get no points. If you think this is the best fit line, you will get no points. You have to draw something that touches as many dots as you can and goes through. Oh, this doesn't do it like the iPad. Everyone good with that? Good. Squiggly, but nonetheless, this is what it's going to look like on your paper with your pencil down through. So scatter diagram, make sure you label, forgot to label, this is what age, oh sorry, this is the number of eggs. Age of the chicken is explanatory, number of eggs is our response. We put our dots in, we draw a line, which we think is the best fit line. Just for the heck of it, by looking at how my dots are going and the red line, can somebody tell me what they think, not a number, the words for the correlation are?
Strong negative.
Strong, negative, line, linear. Strong, negative, linear. All right, now we have a chart. Okay, so this chart, you now have to copy all of your X pieces. These are the age of chickens. So it goes 6, 12, 14, 7, 11, 8, 13, 9, and 10. Just so you understand where I got those. Those are these values right here, 6, 12, 14, 7, 11, 8, 13, 9, and 10. We're going to do the same thing with the Y's, but you got to remember, you can't do them in any order. 6 and 61 are partners. 12 and 39 are partners. So the 61 has to go here. 39 has to go for the Y. The 14 with the 30. The 7 with the 57. The 11 is with a 47. The 8 is with a 54. The 13 is with a 35. The 9 is with a 50. And a 10 is with a 45. Now, when I saved this, it saved a line on the other page. Let me go over back here, just so you know that I will have, in that last line, I will have a little sigma sitting right here. That is for extra line so that you can add all the pieces together, okay? Just so you know where it's at. And now let's complete the chart. X squared says take everything in this X column and square it. So 6 squared is 36, 12 squared is 144, 196, 49, 121, 64, 169, 81, and 100. So again, reiterate, make sure you bring your calculator tomorrow. So my y squared column is I'm going to square each of these values. 61 squared is 3721. And then 1521. 30 squared is 900. 3249. 2209. 2916. 1225. 2500 and 2025. Those are our y squares respectively. And now the fifth column. You're going to take these two numbers and multiply them together. So 6 times 61 is 366. Continuing, we get 468, 420, 399, 517, 432, 455, 450, and 10 times 45 is also 450. So the blank chart will be there on the quiz. It is your job to fill that chart out. And now the most important part of it. You must sum each of these numbers. Let's do this in red because of the importance of it. We must sum each of these numbers together. Well, those are pretty small, not too bad. That gives me 90. Add these numbers together. You get 418. A little bit bigger. Add, you get 960. Add these really big numbers, you get 20,266. And the fifth row, you add and get 3957. N, everybody, is the number of data pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's not 18. There's 9 pairs of data pieces. Yep. Look at your scatter. That proves it. Look, as the age gets older, the number of eggs get fewer. Okay? So this, ladies and gentlemen, is a review for chapter 4.1 quiz that you're taking tomorrow. That real quick. See this line right here, guys? It's at the end of your chart. So all right, continuing. So what I did is I just wrote those values on this page so we can do the rest of this. I will ask you for you to write the formula for the coefficient, all right, the correlation coefficient. So you need to come in tomorrow knowing R is equal to, I'll just do it in the middle here, R is equal to, you're going to put a big old fraction line. The top is N times the sum of xy minus the sum of x times the sum of y. Numerator. You need to memorize. The denominator, we have 2 different square roots. The first one deals with my x's. So it's n times the sum of x squares minus the sum of my x's being squared. Times another radical, this one's going to have the y's. It's n times the sum of our y squares, take away the sum of our y's being squared. You need that formula. You must memorize it. And now, use the above formula and find the actual correlation coefficient to 3 decimal places. And I write down show all work. Well, this is what I want. I want you to write R equals, and this is where you're going to plug the numbers in. I need to see all numbers being plugged in. So, N, when we go back, if we add them all together, well, I guess let me go back real quick. So now we know the N is 9. So here's our 9. Let's do the sum of xy. Sum of xy is this number way over here, 3957. 3957. Write it in. Minus, we got the sum of my x's, which is the first column, 90. And the sum of the y's, which is this column, 418. I want to see the numbers plugged in. On the bottom, I need an n, which we know is 9. It's getting multiplied to the x squared column, which is the 960. And then I'm subtracting the x column being squared, 90 being squared. Under the other radical, I have the n, which is 9, and I have the sum of the y squares. That's that big old number. That's the 20,266. And I'm subtracting the sum of the y's, which is 418, and it's being squared. Okay, so I need to see you plug in all of the pieces. Now, what do I want from here? I need for you to pull your calculator out, and you can type the entire numerator in at once. 9 times 3957, take away 90 times 418, and it'll give us a negative 2007. I want to see that number. It's going to be negative, which makes sense because you already told me it's going to be negative linear. Now on the bottom, I want you to plug in 9 times 960 and hit enter. and then hit a subtraction sign and hit 90 squared and hit enter. It'll spit out 540. You have not somebody in my last class goes, well, I got a decimal. No, you can't get a decimal. I don't want you to take the square root. Leave the square root symbol alone. Same thing here. 9 times 20,266, hit enter. Hit a subtraction sign, hit 418 squared, and it'll spit out 7670. I don't want to ever work with rounded answers, so I'm going to ask you, whenever you take a radical times a radical, you get a radical. You're going to have a whole number, 540, and a whole number, 76. You're going to multiply those two numbers together. You're going to get a big old number. The big old number is 41,800. Bless. And now this is what you plug into your calculator and round one time. So type in negative 2007 divided by the square root of 41,800, and it'll spit out a negative 0.986. Negative 0.986. That proves to you that it is negative, it's linear, and it's strong. And the last thing. Question says, explain the correlation coefficient according to this problem. Age of chickens and how many eggs. So the first, you're going to write two sentences. The first one is more mathematical in nature, but it still has to have the age and the other one involved. So you're telling me what the correlation is. So these are the words you're going to write. There is a strong negative linear correlation. And now we get specific to the problem. Between the age of a chicken and how many eggs it can lay in a month. That's the first one. The underlying question is the age of a chicken and how many eggs. Therefore, since we know this is going in a negative direction, you must also put the answer to the question. The older the chicken, comma, the fewer eggs it lays. Now remember, that question, or that last statement, is you're actually answering what that chart is telling you, what that scatter diagram is doing. You also could write, the younger the chicken, the more eggs it lays. But I think they want to know the older the chicken because, okay, so this chicken only laying so many eggs, let's get some more chickens that are younger, okay? And if you go back